Attorney General Ken Paxton is now petitioning the state Supreme Court, calling for the removal of 13 absent Democrats. Of course, this is part of a larger effort to insulate Donald Trump from voter backlash in the midterms. And joining us now, one of the Democrats targeted by Ken Paxton, Representative Gene Wu. He's the Texas House Democratic Caucus Chair.
Representative Wu, thank you so much for making time to be with us on what I know has been an extraordinarily busy week for you. There's a lot of news to get to, and I promise we're going to get to it, but I want to just sort of set the stakes here for us. This is bigger than Texas. What do you see as what this fight means for our democracy?
I think this is the boss level. This is the end game of where we are in America. This is the final move to see whether we keep our democracy or not. If everyone is allowed to do this, if every state does this, every time a president changes or politics change, we'll continue to just throw everything red or blue each time. And if they keep doing that, there's no more democracy left because politicians won't care who elects them. They'll just do whatever they want. That's not good for America. That's not good for democracy.
What else is not good for America or democracy is the process that we're seeing play out by the governor, the attorney general, and the president. And I want to listen to your response because I have to tell you, I love the moxie, baby, when asked whether or not the FBI will come for you. Let's take a quick listen.
Do you not expect the FBI to come looking for you?
No, we're not afraid of that because if they follow the law, Governor Abbott and Attorney General Paxton have no power outside of the state. If they follow the law, the FBI, President Trump, has no power to intervene in something that they do not have jurisdiction to intervene in. That's assuming that they follow the law.
So the key part there is you emphasized 3 times, if they follow the law, is critically important. Connect that to the fact that you've drawn that line in the sand. And I'm going to tell you why I think you're effective in doing what you're doing. Because the governor, the president, and the attorney general are scrambling. You have not been defeated by their bullying, their bluster, and their BS. And you've called them on it. Here's the question. If they follow the law, it's going to be a problem. I just don't think they will. I think they're going to find a way to get around it. So that, for me, from a political perspective, is what are Democrats who are still in the state, who the 13 have left, others are still there? How are they organizing the people to continue to be that bulwark against the president, the AG, and the governor?
Well, and I've said this from the very beginning, this is not up to Democrats. This is not up to just us. This is not up to blue states. This is up to all Americans. Like, if you believe in America where hard work and following the rules and fair play still matter, that people should be rewarded who do the right things and people who lie, cheat, and steal shouldn't get ahead. If you still believe in that, we need Americans to stand up and say no more. We need Americans to stand up and say, we have had enough. This nonsense, this BS that they're pushing is un-American, it's undemocratic, it's not us. And we want to go back to where things used to be.
Gene, you've laid out the moral case for what you're doing eloquently, but now let's talk tactics. What is next for Texas Democrats? It's expensive to do this walkout. Yeah. It costs $500 a day per person. And I know that Beto O'Rourke he was said to be contributing some of his war chest. And now the Attorney General Ken Paxton is going after him. And the House Speaker has said that funding may be cut off to your salaries for different Democratic reps and funding for your offices. How long is this sustainable?
Well, so look, I mean, you look at the amount of desperation that they have. Like Michael said, they're just trying everything. Governor Abbott filed to have me removed from office, and he filed it in the wrong place and filed it the wrong way, and he's the wrong person to file it. They're alleging all these things and just doing nonsense stuff over and over again. Attorney General Paxton filed in Illinois, and every attorney that looked at it, including myself, looked at it and immediately started laughing. because this is like first year law school type of buffoonery of like, where are you supposed to file? Where do you have jurisdiction? These are most basic questions that any attorney should be able to answer. But the governor, the attorney general, the governor, by the way, who used to be attorney general, was a Supreme Court justice, was an appellate court judge, was a district court judge, doesn't know black letter law. I think more likely is they're desperate and they're flailing and they're trying to look tough to their people and they're trying to scare us, but we ain't moving.
I will say, Representative Wu, I've heard you argue that either the governor doesn't know what basic law is or he's just doing this as a political stunt. And I would propose to you that those two options are not mutually exclusive. I want to make sure that we talk about something else that has been happening to you in your state, and that is racist remarks that have been leveled at you. You have faced inaccurate, inflammatory insults from your Republican opponent this week. It's too ugly. I'm not even going to say the words because I can't get them out of my mouth. But I want to know who you think is responsible, Representative Wu, for the devolution we have seen in our politics that have brought us to the point where people think this is acceptable.
Well, I mean, I have dealt with casual racism in the legislature for all 13 years of my tenure. This is not a new thing. But in the past, they would at least keep it quiet. They would at least keep it behind closed doors. They might not do it to your face. That's changed. And what changed was, let's be honest, Donald Trump. He made it acceptable to go out and do these things that in the past people would say, oh, that's unstatesmanlike, that's not proper. We don't say that in polite society. Donald Trump has destroyed our norms. And one of the things we want Americans to say is, we want to go back. We want to go back to an era where politicians can disagree, but not be disagreeable. That you can not agree with each other on positions, but still see each other as fellow Americans who deserve honor and respect. I'd like to go back to that. And I think a lot of Americans want to go back to that too. But the thing is, if you want that, you have to demand it. You have to fight for it. You have to punish people who don't do that.
So, Representative, before we let you go, I do want to double back on Elise's question a little bit to get a little bit more clarity on what are some of the practical next steps that you and your colleagues are facing in light of the financial burdens that they're trying to place on you, and just in addition to the legal ones. So I just want to get some clarity on the practical things you're considering right now. In terms of how much longer this can go.
So one of the really amazing things that I've seen lately that I'm going to try not to get emotional about is just the absolute outpouring of support from not just Texans, but from Americans across the nation. We've gotten messages of support from everywhere, but just as importantly, we're receiving donations, small donations, $5, $10, $25 at a time. And we are helping, that's helping us stay here. That's helping us do what we need to do. But it's also, it helps us like be in the fight and hold strong. But at the end of the day, we knew going into this how much sacrifice this would take. This is not something we took very lightly. That all of our members who are here, they understand the personal sacrifice, both in terms of income, in terms of fines that they're going to pick up, in terms of being gone from their families again. All these things were considered. And every single person who is with us has said, whatever pain that we would feel is nothing compared to the pain that Americans would feel if we did not stand up now. If we did not fight back now, if we did not rally people to our cause now, the pain that Americans would suffer would be far in excess of what we would feel. And whatever pain we can take off of their shoulders, we're happy to take.
Michael, the representative said he didn't want to get emotional, but I got to say, I am grateful for your emotion. I am grateful for your passion, because I think the thing we are all most worried about in this moment is that folks are going to become numb to the moment we find ourselves in.
Absolutely. The defining truth of this great country is personal sacrifice.